Yeah, let me just go ahead and purchase that Coco soundtrack. Hello everyone! So yesterday, Pixar's newest film, Coco, was released in theaters here in the United States, and I might have gone and seen it very late at night. I'm working on a lot less sleep than I usually am, but boy, it was worth it! Coco was so good! And so like last year when I went and saw Rogue One, I wanted to give you guys some non-spoilery basic thoughts. Bottom line, you should definitely go see it. I really loved Coco. I have a lot of really good things to say about this. The music. The music was incredible. I mean, that makes sense given how important music was to the story, but it was really a great soundtrack. Even the score. Michael Giacchino got to stretch a little, and the resulting music is really beautiful and really different from what he usually composes. And there were times during the movie where I really noticed the score in a good way, and it just made me connect to the story a lot more emotionally. It was so good. I would definitely recommend not getting the soundtrack until you've seen the movie. I think that the less you know about the story, the better. It was a really amazing story, and I don't want to hint at what it was or what happens in it because it just really was so much more enjoyable for me because I didn't really know a whole lot about the movie going in. But I will just say that it was really well paced. It was a really good story about family and about music and dreams. It was good in a way that you're not going to expect. They interpreted some themes very differently than normal. And that very vague assessment is all I am going to say about that. There was some stuff in this movie that I don't think I've ever seen portrayed in a Disney or Pixar movie, and it was really intensely refreshing. For example, there's a scene where a character shares a tequila shot with another character. It's this nice sentimental moment. It's not played for laughs, but like there's no mistaking it's alcohol that they're drinking, and that's not shown as a bad thing. For that to be like in a Disney Pixar movie, it was not something that I would normally expect. Any pretentiousness that I had about the stylization of the characters and the animation being boring, that is gone. It is gone now. The animation really shined in the scenes where we got to see the land of the dead and where we got to see the environment. They were so detailed and so colorful. I was immediately struck in this movie by how colorful it was, just how intensely vibrant it was. There was obviously a huge influence and inspiration drawn from Mexican art, and I loved that. The drama in this movie was so good. There was emotion everywhere. It's wonderful when you can go into a story and get so caught up in the characters and the emotion, and you really feel everything. Coco did not shy away from not only the drama, but also just the emotion. The pacing is really good. It doesn't dawdle in the beginning, and I was worried that it might take us a little while to get to the land of the dead, but it doesn't really, which is good because a lot of stuff happens there. But there's also just a lot of things that go really fast. There's a lot of like really quick cuts. It's the kind of movie I feel like you probably need to go see it twice, at least. There are going to be things in your first viewing that you miss completely, and it's just because things happen so quickly. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that's up to your individual taste. If you speak Spanish, you're probably gonna catch a lot more of the jokes. I loved how quick-witted the humor was. You had to be paying attention, and that's my favorite kind of humor. So basically, I loved it. And you know how good it was? I had forgotten until the credits started rolling that a 20-minute Frozen short was in front of it. If you like Frozen, you're probably gonna enjoy it, but for me, I'm just like, why was it 21 minutes? But that's not the point. This is about Coco. Coco was amazing. Despite the similarities, there was never really a moment where I felt like, oh, this reeks of the Book of Life. They definitely stole it. There are a lot of similarities in the themes of the stories, but it's more like you ran the Book of Life through a random word generator And then you used some of those words for Coco. Yes, music plays a big part, and identity and family plays a huge role, but when you're watching it, it still feels very, very different. The emphasis is on very different things. It has a very different kind of mythology. I think that's fine. I'm glad that we have two mainstream movies about Dia De Los Muertos and about Mexican culture. I'm glad that I exist in a world where the Book of Life and Coco exist. It was a beautiful movie through and through. I really think that you guys should go and see it. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you're excited to see Coco. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to The Princess and the Scrivener for more videos on Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. The Princess will see you next week.